Hello and welcome to the Student Counsel podcast, an educational advice show made for students and by students, where everyone is qualified to talk about their own experiences. This week, I am just so thrilled because this has been an episode that I feel like has been, in a way, in the works for like 3 years now. With a good friend of mine, a former editor on a podcast I used to do called Positivity. She's absolutely incredible. She does YouTube videos, she does vlogs, she edits podcasts, she does music. She is just absolutely amazing. She's at U of M Dearborn. This is Chizobem Uche, aka Cheezy. Cheezy, thank you for coming on the show today. I cannot wait to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's going to be so much fun. Well, Cheezy, the first question right off the bat here. What have been your favorite 5 minutes of the past week?
I'd probably have to say, so last night, me and a few friends were still on campus, and we were just, here in the University Center, and we were just talking, having, new conversations. So any 5 minutes out of, that, hours-long conversation, I think, would be the best, because we got to, know each other more, on, a deeper level, so, we like to do that and, really get to know each other. So it was really cool, and I think that would be my favorite, because even today we've already referenced it because we stayed on campus until 9:30 and the building closes at 11. So
Yeah.
it was pretty much kind of cutting it close, but it was really fun, and I'm really glad it happened.
I'm really glad that happened too. I think that there's something special about, something really special about those end of semester conversations. We were talking beforehand, stuff kind of is wrapping up gradually, class by class. And I vividly remember this week, every semester that those kind of last conversations, not last conversations, but you're before a long break, you're kind of together, you have time, there's weight off your shoulders. I feel very similarly. There's been a lot of just kind of those fun, nice conversations happening. So I completely see where that's coming from. And I also know what you mean about closing down some university buildings. I've had many a share of those experiences in my time. Of being kicked out of the Michigan Union when they closed, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, I wanna circle back and just kind of see it from the beginning. What has been your college experience at Michigan Dearborn? What led you to the school, and how has your experience there been?
Yeah. So I came to U of M Dearborn. It was one of my my top three schools. And it was number 3 on my top 3. And my top 2, I would have gone to, but I didn't get enough financial aid. And so I ended up coming here because I had a scholarship that was basically covering all of tuition. And because U of M Dearborn is a commuter school, that's basically everything they have to pay, excluding other fees that aren't included in the tuition. So I ended up coming here to U of M Dearborn, and I came here because I'm gonna study pharmacy later on. So I didn't know what I was gonna do specifically, what I was gonna major in, but I knew that I was gonna be able to take my classes here and then end up applying to pharmacy school later down the line whenever that would come up. And just my time here has been very interesting and gradually fun over the years. When I first started, it was, as a freshman, it can be hard to find your place on campus and find your people in your community. So it's for that first semester, even though I knew that I wanted to be part of a Christian community on campus, and on our campus we have University Christian Fellowship. So I definitely joined that from the get-go. But even with that, there's already formed friendships and relationships, so it's kind of hard to get into it. So, but I did stick with it during that time. But I still felt kind of off to the side a little bit. These people don't really know me yet, and I don't really know them. And that first semester, I kind of felt kind of lonely, but I still had some friends. And then as I kept going to university and still, I got to talk to more people and meet some really awesome people and have some really great conversations. A lot of spiritual conversations and just conversations about life in general. It's really cool to even just find a space where you're able to talk about different conversations like the ones that I had last night with my friends. It stemmed from that first and second semester of my freshman year. It was getting to know these people more and really talk about things that I hadn't talked about before, and having deeper conversations with people. And that's I've been going went to university since then, so my social life has really like blossomed because I didn't really have a social life before. But now I like have like a community on campus. And then academically, I mean, it's been academics can be tough, but I think it's been all right. And then there's a lot of resources on campus, so I know that if I ever need to, I can like seek out help from either the professors or like the tutors or anything and anyone on campus. So it's been really cool and also like eye-opening, just like the different things that I get to learn and that are offered here.
Yeah, I really like a lot of the things you mentioned. I think especially the time it takes to find community on campus is very valid. And even like when you kind of find like that social circle sometimes, or whether it's a club, it does take a minute to kind of break into like what that actual social dynamics look like, and that can
Right.
develop and evolve over time. And I really like how you've characterized that. And I think that, you know, it really seems like university was a big thing in your development and foundation at college. Like, I think it speaks a lot to the value of those community-based organizations that you can find, and especially like, you know, faith-based orgs. And so like, that's really cool. I'm curious to dive a little bit more into U of M Dearborn as a whole. Like, what would you say the general student culture is at Dearborn? What's it like as more of a commuter school? Like, are there any dorms on campus?
So across from our main campus, there is like apartments. It's called the Union.
Mm-hmm.
And well, the full name is like the Union at Dearborn, and so it's open to like Dearborn students, even just like even if you're not a student, I'm pretty sure you can still like live there. I mean, from what I've heard, it costs a lot, which makes sense because you're living there and that's apartment life. But
Mm-hmm.
aside from that, people usually like drive from like either if they're living with their families or maybe they're living somewhere else, and then there's just commuting from there. Like me, I live with my parents, and I live probably about 25 minutes away on a good day. But I have some friends that will like drive like almost an hour here, which
Wow.
for me is crazy. I would
Yeah.
never do that. Like if it was an hour, I would just like find somewhere around campus to like live because that's a
Right.
lot of gas. But
Exactly.
but like the culture on campus is kind of it's really cool. We don't have as many orgs as like U of M in Arbor because we are a smaller school. But like we have different orgs. Like we have a student activities board who is always like putting on activities and trying to like foster that school spirit and like I guess a sense of like community because like going to a community school it can be very easy to just like go to campus for your classes and then like go back home.
Mm-hmm.
But like you know some people like to like go to college for like that college experience and like have fun and to like hang out with friends and stuff. So I'm glad that we do have some orgs on campus that really focus on like I guess community building and having different activities on campus that everybody is welcome to come to. And I know it is definitely hard because of course not everybody's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
There's people from all walks of life that are coming to the school, from like non-traditional students to just like I don't know, it's just like so many different types of people. So it can be really hard to like foster that sense of community. But I think just trying to find your community on campus, like taking like what's important to you or like, your hobbies. We even have like we have a gamers club. So like if you're a
Yeah.
video gamer, you know, you can join that. We have like a Spanish club, I think French maybe. But we have like a lot of different things for like different interests. So like if you have like a specific interest or something that's really important to you, you can try to find that on our campus. And then if not, you can definitely like start it yourself, like start a new org. Like I think this semester there's a new org that's like called Swiftie Society for Taylor Swift fans. So like that's really fun for those people. Like
Yeah.
I have a friend, like I have multiple friends who are Swifties, and one of them is joining that. So like that's really cool for them because like if you're really interested in something, you can really just like start that and just like all you have to do is like find a I think a faculty advisor and like some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you don't like find that community like already established, I'm sure you can foster it and like ask
Yeah.
around. There's also another one that's called Deaf and ASL Club that's starting up, and I discovered that I think on our Victor's link or something, and
Mm-hmm.
that's an interest of me, like of mine, kind of like learning ASL a little bit more. So like if they start to have events soon, I'll hopefully be able to go to those events. But yeah, there's like different ways and different opportunities to like get connected on campus, and just like also being part of a smaller campus for me, I like seeing faces and like being able to recognize faces. Like even though I don't know you,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with your face, and I'm like, okay, I know your face because like I've seen you around, and like I like looking from afar and be like, okay, you're having fun, you're chilling, you're cool, and
Uh-huh.
everything. So yeah, I think it's really fun, and just like being on this campus for me.
I totally see that. I like what you mentioned about the club stuff. It reminds me of a very similar story. I'm an RA at U of M here, and one of my
Yeah.
residents was like, this is like second week of school, and he's like, hey, I want to start a Taylor Swift club. And I'm like, all right, like that's cool. And then he's like, I see him like 24 hours later, and he's like, I have 200 students who signed up. And I went like, okay.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And like, and that's I think a difference in scale as well with U of
Yeah.
M here, but I think it goes to show that it's the same thing they say about like having a question in class. It's like more than likely than not you're not the only one who thinks this way. So like
Right, right.
finding that community, I think it was really cool he found that, and I think they've done like listening parties and a couple other cool events. So like makes me
Yeah.
so happy to see clubs like that flourish, and I recommend an ASL club. Seems really cool. I wonder if I would assume like my school has one as well, but I hope that
Mm.
it's a cool org. It's like I did ASL in middle school and really enjoyed it. Like I think it's such a
Wow.
fascinating language to learn.
Yeah.
So let me know how that goes. I'm curious if you end up
Yeah.
joining, going to some events, send me some
Yes, of
updates.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it is, I think Dearborn as more of a commuter school like switches the vibe up. I'm curious a little bit of the dynamics between like there's the U of M Michigan, Ann Arbor, Dearborn, and then Flint. Like how does like Dearborn interact with like the other two Michigan campuses?
I would say as a school in itself, it doesn't. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like has to do with how the Michigan system is like set up. Because even though technically we're all part of the same school, just different campuses, like the system like to treat us as like completely different schools. So
Hmm.
like even like the transfer like situation, like one of my friends transferred from here to Ann Arbor this past semester, and it wasn't as easy as you would think it would be, like because like the courses aren't the same always, which is makes no sense to me. Like if it's the same school, it should be the same, like same criteria, same everything. But it's kind of hard to like it's very weird like, for me to like think about that, because it's like, well, we're the same school, so why isn't everything like super easy to just like if someone wants to transfer into from Dearborn to Ann Arbor, it should be like a simple click of a button type of
Yeah.
thing. But it's not, makes it very weird, and I don't know why they set it up like that. But I mean, there's some ways where it's like the connection is fine. So like resources wise, like we're able to like access the same resources, which is really cool because there are some things that will not be available here in like Dearborn's library, but it's over there at Ann Arbor's library. So we're able to like still like check those out, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And then like specifically from my org in university, like we have like different chapters all over Michigan, and we have a chapter over there at Ann Arbor, and then we also have one at Flint, U of M Flint. So I think for our chapter, we more interact with those different campuses than
Mm-hmm.
rather than like our school as a whole, because we're able to like with our different events that we have like throughout the semester and throughout the year, we're able to like interact with those students as we like gather somewhere in like the state and just like hang out and like talk and meet up with each other. And yeah, we're just like some of us are like really close friends with U of M Flint people, and then we've met some of the Ann Arbor people. So yeah, as our chapter, it's been cool to interact with other schools because as a school, we don't really do that.
Yeah, that is nice that you can still find some cross campus connection, because I think it should be a thing. Like I just think that we're three U of of M campuses, I think, as you said,
Right.
like there shouldn't be as many distinctions as maybe there are right now, especially with classes. I
Mhm.
didn't know about that, but yeah, it's I think something that is cool to see some more connection, and I'm glad that your work can kind of facilitate that. You mentioned resources, but mine went in a bit of a different direction, which is that we did, as three Michigan campuses, share a commonality, which is that we lost our internet for the first week of
Oh
classes.
yeah.
Uh, and I'm curious what that was like for you at Dearborn, because I've heard a lot of Michigan POV, like Ann Arbor POV, but
Right.
how was that experience for you?
Yeah, I remember that like the first few days. It was kind of weird. I mean, like we couldn't access anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like okay, so in university I'm like a student leader, so we do
Nice.
like proxies outside. So we like do an outreach and we have like a table set up in, like the center of campus. And I remember like more than usual, I think, like there were a few students that would ask us directions of like where the so and so building is, like the Counsel building or the RUC, and that was really fun. I mean, because we're
Yeah.
experienced students, so like we know where they are and we kind of point them to it. And it also like gave us an opportunity to like have conversations with people. But like as students academically, it was very much like we had our hands tied behind our backs, like we couldn't do anything because everything was based off of Wi-Fi. Like our canvas is on like based off of Wi-Fi. And I don't know. It was very weird, weird like limbo situation because like we couldn't like continue anything or, like move forward. So it was an interesting time. But yeah, that's funny that you mentioned it because I forgot about that.
Yeah, limbo is a great word for it. I mean, like I don't think I'll ever fully forget, but I think especially like as classes are ending, it's made me reflect a lot on how they started, and it was I want to say 4 days of no internet, Sunday to Wednesday, which was just remarkable. Like I think for the sake of like how unprecedented it was,
Yeah.
but I'm glad. Yeah, I think it did. Like I think students bonded a little bit more because they all had nothing else to do. They got to
Right.
go out and
Yeah.
interact with each other.
Hmm.
And so I'm glad it was able to kind of facilitate some more conversations and things.
Yeah,
Now,
and I think like as they were saying like that the different campuses were like so in their own worlds. I
yeah.
think that being something that combined all of us is like we all experienced having no internet for those first few days. So I think that was a good bonding experience for a new semester and a new year.
I think it was. I think it is something that really united us all in
Yeah.
that experience. Is like all three Michigan campuses, at least for that moment, came together and got to rally. I really like that perspective. I'm curious, does that happen at sports? Like, does Dearborn follow Michigan athletics, Michigan football the way that Ann Arbor does?
I would say overall maybe not as much. I know we are able to go to like Ann Arbor games, and some people do, but because it's all the way out in Ann Arbor and most of our demographics, most of them live like in the Dearborn area or like neighboring cities. So to drive out all the way to Ann Arbor, and not everybody is willing to do that or is able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I want to do that at some point, but I know the tickets are very expensive,
Yeah.
and I have not had time to like invest into that, but yeah, it's not like sports is a weird thing because it's not as big over here as it is like at Ann Arbor. But we do have like our own sports and things, and that's just like a whole other community side of our campus.
That is cool. I'm glad that you kind of have, like, I think it's cool that you have your own sports as, again, another community side and, like, getting to go to those games. Because I think it is a unique experience of college is getting to go to
Yeah.
athletic games and rally around that. If you're ever in Ann Arbor, if you come for a football game, let me know. I'll
Yeah.
gladly take you around the area, and I'll do the same if I'm ever in the Dearborn location. But that would be a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
fun.
of
Yeah.
course.
I'm curious about, like, your path. You talked about kind of going into pharmacy and looking down that road. Is that still like what you're set on doing? Was that pretty straightforward for you, or has it been a little bit more like winding, let's say?
Yeah, I mean, I've always known that I was going to go into pharmacy since like high school. So like that like the end goal has been the same since then. But how to get there has changed. So when I started in college, I was my plan was to like do 2 years of prerequisites and then go straight into pharmacy school and then I'd be done. So like to get it all out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I met with the our health professions advisor and like had some conversations with her, and she's like changed my mind several times, and she's aggressive in a good way. Like she's very passionate about what she does,
Yeah.
and like very passionate about like getting us to where we need to be, and like giving us resources to help us get there. And I at first I didn't plan on getting a degree. Now I'm here finishing out my 4 years, getting a degree in it's a bachelor's in science. My major is behavioral and biological sciences, which I
Wow.
it's really fitting for me because like I'm able to combine like my interest in like psychology and like that kind of like what they call soft science, and then also a mix of like harder sciences like neuroscience, biology, chemistry, and that kind of stuff. So I'm glad I was able to find a major on campus that really resonated with me. And then like a year ago or maybe a little bit more of that is when I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish out my degree and then I'm gonna go right into Counsel. And then that has also changed. Now I'm planning on taking a gap year so that I'm able to like kind of get some more experience like in the clinical field. So I plan on like getting a job as like a pharmacy tech or like working in the pharmacy during like that gap year, and then after that I'll apply to like pharmacy school so that my application looks a little better, and just like kind of to give myself like a break, I guess, of like academics, of like all this hustle, and like giving myself a little rest and like going back to it.
Absolutely. I think that that's a cool plan. I like seeing the evolution of it over time. And I think that's something that's always nice that it's constantly flowing. And shout out to college advisors for just being so great so many times. Like shout out to you, Matthew Turner, my lovely academic advisor. I appreciate all of his guidance and wisdom. And I think that's cool. It's nice to like take a year between kind of schools and get the hands-on experience, because I think that brings you such a special and unique POV to the industry.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm going to dive into some more of the fun kind of general questions I'd love to ask everyone on the show. And I'll start with, what is the best piece of advice that somebody ever gave to you?
I would say it's something that my mom has said, and it's like I can't quote her like specifically because the wording kind of changes, but it's basically that like if anything, like when something doesn't go as planned or like doesn't go how you thought it would go, it's like that, like basically not cutting it as a loss and just like moving on, and like because life isn't over, and like we believe like God has like a greater plan in the end, like everything ends up working out how they were supposed to, even if it wasn't the way that you thought it was going to be, and just like not getting so hung up on like our original plans, and I think it's a really good piece of advice, especially even just like being young adults and as college students, and all the plans that we feel that we have to make, and having to like be like, oh, now I have to plan like the rest of my life, and we don't have to plan the rest of our life because we're literally like in our like early 20s or like whatever. It's like we literally have like we have like the rest of our life to like live out. You just have to like focus on the here and now, and if it doesn't work out like the way we hoped it would, we can still like our life is not over, and we can like still feel back from that. And my mindset, it's funny because like I get it from the internet, but it's like I'm always doing things for the plot. Like if like I always do it for the plot. If anything I'm like nervous about or anything, I'm just like, you know what, for the plot. I'm gonna do it for the plot. And like later on, like down the road, I'm gonna be able to tell the story of like the time that I did this. Like for our costume party, I did it for the plot, and then I painted myself green and dressed up as Gamora.
No way.
Yes, I did. So like I'm always doing things for the plot because like I don't know, it's especially like being a college student, like they say it's the time of our lives. We'll have many times of our lives, but like this is like a time that we're able to like be more, I guess, carefree in a sense, like where we have like a little less responsibilities than we're gonna have when we're like 40. So it's like to have more fun with it, and just not hold things too like tightly, just like able to be flexible, I guess.
I completely agree with everything. I think that like it is a time in our lives. I like that phrasing of it a lot, and I love for the plot, because sometimes you just got to do stuff for the plot. You just got to go out on a little mini adventure, build up some lore, and do it all for the plot. I was looking to see, have you posted your Gamora costume anywhere? I feel like I've seen it on like an Instagram story of yours.
I put it on a story, but I didn't post it on like a post or anything.
It's amazing though. Like that's so for the plot. That's so fun and goofy. I went out as good old Ted Lasso, and you can never go wrong in a Ted Lasso costume. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. What is your ultimate tip for somebody going into college?
Oh, ultimate is a big word. I don't even
It
know.
is.
I guess it would be to be open-minded and to be open to like have new experiences, to take on new opportunities, to like go on adventures, because I'm always going on an adventure. And then also like I guess a branch off from that would be to say yes to things, and I mean to more things, not to everything. There's some things you
Yeah.
should say no to.
Yep.
But to just be like more open to like different things and not to be close-minded. And I feel like before college, I feel like that's what people would say, that college is the time to be like open-minded. Like you get more open-minded, you learn new things, and like you get to see more of the world. And like having been in college for a few years, I totally agree with that. And I definitely see where they were coming from. Because if you're more open-minded, you're able to like learn new things about yourself, about other people, and then even the world as a whole. And to like see that things aren't as black and white as we once thought they were.
Yeah.
And to just like, explore new things. And yeah, again, just like have adventures and be more open to like saying yes to things.
Absolutely. I'll have to ask you, what's been your favorite adventure, if you can pick one, or just like a really notable one?
Oh my goodness. I've had so many adventures, especially like being on a commuter campus. We're just driving everywhere. You can drive like anywhere, drive over to like the nearest restaurant to like get food. That can be an adventure in itself.
That's epic.
Yeah. There's so many that I've had. I think I might say when there was like a group of us that went to Urbana last year. That would probably be a good adventure because we all got to like cross state lines
Yeah.
together, and it was quite an adventure. There was like a few cars of us, and one of the cars, like apparently there's this thing where like if we're traveling anywhere like by car, there's always one car that's like there's something that's gonna happen to it. And then
Yes.
like inevitably there was like one of our cars, like there was a rock that fell off of a truck or something and like hit the windshield of that car,
Oh
which was
no.
insane to hear. It's like that's crazy. But in the end, they were all good. They got there safely, which is we're really thankful for that. But even just like walking throughout Indianapolis was really cool and such an
Yeah.
adventure in itself. Because like we had to keep the cars in the hotel parking because they had a weird rule that I don't even remember what it was, but you couldn't like take out the car every time, which was very weird. And I mean, we wouldn't because where we had to go was relatively close. But it was really cool to kind of walk around the city because I'm not a huge city girl. I'm more of like suburban girl. So like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
to drive places, but like Indianapolis, you like walk everywhere. So it was really fun to like experience that, and then also like the conference that we were there for, to like see people from like all over the world and all over the country, even to just like be together in that huge space. So that was really cool.
That is really cool. There is something special to crossing state lines together. I'm excited to do that with my circle of college friends at some point soon.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also know what you said. I haven't gone on many of those big treks, but I've always heard of the one car that breaks down and then the backup car breaks down. And I've heard of many of those stories. I was just talking about that one with somebody over the
Yeah.
weekend. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
always little bonkers. But
Yeah, it's insane.
yeah, I'm curious, what is a dorm room essential item that you would recommend for everybody?
I was talking with my friends about this a little bit before we started, and like it's kind of hard for me to think personally, like from my experience, because I don't live in a
Right.
dorm.
But like,
But
yeah,
yeah, they were being funny and they said food, which is like obviously,
yeah,
obviously we have food, that's an essential. But then like from that, kind of like going the food route, like a fridge or microwave, like just to like make
yeah,
sure we can preserve things and like cook things because buying food is expensive and I've learned that this semester
yup.
and I went to the grocery store like a month ago, bought things in bulk. I'm still kind of living off of that and I
There we
spent
go.
more money than I was at the beginning of the semester because I don't work that much. And so I was spending more money than I had,
Yeah.
which was crazy. But now, like, I'm living off like the food that I bought from the grocery store like a month ago and food that my mom still makes at home. So yeah, just to, like save as much money as you can by like having a fridge, having a microwave, and like having food and going to the grocery store to buy food and not to like the local restaurant.
Yeah. No, I look at my paychecks and I go, where'd it go? And then I look at the orders I placed at Bodega Bros and I go, okay, I get it now. Uh,
Right, right. It goes by so quickly. It's crazy.
too fast. Food goes too fast. But I'm curious
Yeah.
though, to reframe the question, what are like some of the essentials for you as a commuter student? What are the things that you always need to have on hand, whether it's in your car or just that you kind of need for that experience?
I would say for me, like lotion and hand sanitizer. And
Preach.
also I'll add on to it like mint or gum because
Preach.
you'll never know when someone's gonna need it. Like I'm just carrying around lotion. I don't have that much of it. And I also don't have that much hand sanitizer because people don't usually ask me for it. But whenever they do, I have some on hand. And
Yeah.
also the mint that I've had in my backpack has been there for years. I mean, mint thankfully doesn't like go bad, but like whenever someone like asks, I'm like, oh yeah, I do have it, and they'll be like, there you
Yeah.
go. It can be a lifesaver for that moment.
Yeah, speaking of buying stuff in bulk, I bought like one of those big boxes of gum at the start of the semester, like the mint gum from
Oh,
Costco, and it has been
ah,
lasting me the entire time. And it is scattered all over my room, all over my backpacks.
right.
It's I think an absolutely critical thing. I would throw chapstick on that list as well. Now that the weather's getting
Yes.
colder,
Yes, chapstick. Yes, for sure.
I
That is
was
a very good one.
it's like they were giving out free chapstick today at an event, and I was like very happy. I didn't actually even get one, but I was like, it reminded me. I'm like, I'm glad I have chapstick on hand for the
Yeah.
winter.
This
Yeah,
winter's been bad. Like the skin's getting very dry, lips
yeah,
getting very chapped. But yeah, that's a very good. I like that.
yeah. This winter's been rough. How was it today though? Because I felt today felt like a beautiful fall day. Like it was sunny. It was like 39, but it was sunny, which felt like uncanny.
Yeah, I mean, compared to, I think yesterday was a little bit colder, but today, like, I was
Yeah.
looking at the weather and it was showing like 40s. And I was like, okay, but also like showed 30s because Michigan weather is so crazy and so
Yes.
weird.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, because I'm always thinking, okay, do I need to wear my winter coat or should I wear my fall coat? Because
Yep.
like, there's a difference. And like, I was like, I'm gonna be out all day, so I might as well just take my winter coat and then I can just take it off whenever. Because you gotta be prepared, especially like as a commuter, like you can't take everything with you, and everything's not like just there, like a walk away or something. So like I have to be kind of prepared. So like okay, it's gonna be this temperature out today. I plan on staying like until it's nighttime, so it's gonna be cold for sure. Might as well take my winter coat and just like be warm at the end rather than like freezing on my way, like walking from the building to my car in the parking lot. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes complete and total sense. I'm curious, what were your expectations kind of going to school, and like how did that reality compare?
I didn't really have expectations of going to school. It's
That's really
just,
nice.
yeah, I mean, like I grew up in an immigrant household, so my parents didn't really like grow up in America and like go to like they went to like university here for like their degree, but it wasn't like growing up from like age like a toddler age, growing up all the way through like the school system, and then from there like going into like college. So like I didn't have any stories from my like homes. You're like, oh, I did this and this and this in college, and you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. These are gonna be the
Yeah.
best years of your life. I could never heard any of that from my family because like they never experienced it like that. And then everything else I saw was like from TV shows and movies, and I knew it was not gonna be like that. Like it's not like High School Musical.
Yep.
Like high school is not like that, and it's not gonna be like Clueless type of thing. So I never like had like really set expectations of like, okay, this is what it's gonna be like, or I'm gonna have the quote unquote college experience. But I did know like going to community school that it wouldn't be the college experience that everybody was looking for. That would be more of like living on campus, like at Ann Arbor or any other school. And I guess I might have like wanted to have that myself. So like have that experience of going and living on campus because from what I did hear like in the movies and stuff, like oh that's really cool. Like everybody's around all the time, and you just like have some late night talks and adventures and all those crazy things. But I don't know. I knew going to community school that it would be a little bit different, and it's not what people usually like look for or like are like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to community school and it's gonna be so much fun. But I'm glad like even though I go to a community school, that I'm still able to have some of those college experiences. Like I do here and there have like late night talks with people.
Yeah.
I'm able to like still go on adventures and hang out with people. What feels like for me kind of all the time, because this is where I spend most of my time on campus. I go to campus, I go home. I go to campus, I go home.
Yeah.
So I feel like it is like I'm spending time with these people all the time. And also as an introvert myself, I am glad that I do have some kind of like step away from people and not be around everybody all the time. So I think in the end it still worked out.
That's really good. I really like the way the perspective you carry on that. I think it is a nice balance as a commuter school. You can kind of really like not distance yourself, but take some time to go back home, refresh, get away for a little bit, and then come back recharge. I think that is something that's always kind of go in Ann Arbor, which for, living on campus is just very lively, which a lot of times I do genuinely love though. But I'm glad you've still been able to have your adventures and your late night chats and all those, I think, really foundational bits of college, even if you haven't necessarily like living in campus, which I think is something that can definitely always be done. Yeah, like it was on Halloween, we a group of us were just kind of out and about on campus, and we bumped into somebody who was like a commuter student who just like joined our group for the night, and we had like a great time hanging out with her, and it was nice, like, and she I think was like even like 40 minutes away from Ann Arbor, which was surprising, but still able to stick on campus and to be there most of the time, which I think you're right, like when you're at college, you can't like check out from there,
Right, exactly.
Yeah. What's a moment from your high school experience that you still think about?
Because for me, I barely remember high school.
Yeah.
Partially because of like the pandemic, it kind of wiped out some of my memories. There's a few that I still think about. Like there was one like my sophomore year of high school. I was taking chemistry class with this teacher who was not a very good teacher. Great person, not the best teacher of chemistry. And there was like a group of us, like there was like including me, there was like four of us that we always like would talk like in not like disruptive talk, but like we would hang out like in the class and, like we'd try to figure things out, and I ended up passing the class, so it was fine, but it was like very weird class. The teacher, not to speak badly on him, is also kind of weird in himself. But, like I think again, he's a great guy, but not the best teacher. Like there are some people that are great people, but just can't teach that well.
Absolutely.
And, like I felt for him, but it just wasn't the greatest situation. We had a lot of fun. I think it's easy to look back on it now, like as a movie. Like I would think of like back to those '90s movies of like students, just like probably like Breakfast Club type of thing.
Yeah.
Like being rascals, like doing weird stuff, but like we were still good kids. It was funny, and I just think back to there's this picture that we have with like all of our feet up on the desk or on the bench, and like we took a picture of it, and then our teacher's like in the background of the picture, which is like so hilarious because like
that's amazing.
it kind of shows like the chaos of the time, but it's kind of like inside joke for those of us who experienced it, because it was like that's such a crazy time for us to like try to be learning chemistry, and it just didn't work out well, and kind of came to bite me back in the butt, because when I had to take chemistry here in college, I had nothing from high school. The only thing that I remembered was sig figs. Nothing else. But yeah, it was a crazy time. That's probably something that I always remember.
You remember more than I do. You like unlocked a memory with sig figs. But yeah, high school chemistry, it's such a hard class to teach to such a hard audience too. You know what I'm saying? But I know exactly where you're coming from with those stories. Like I remember my high school chemistry was just very like goofy at times, just the way in which it operated. I remember I was somebody in the back of the class, but I sat in the back row in that class, and it unlocked a different side of me. And I remember I remember I'd never really been some person to be like chatting during class, but like there were a couple times, a lot of it was initially at least based in like, oh, can you help me out with this question? And then we just kind of were rolling with it from there into all the other chaos. But like, I think we melted a beaker in that class. I remember one day we got to go outside. It was the first snowfall. And so we were all just like outside for like 5 minutes. But no, we burned the bottom of a beaker off. So like the teacher had to pick it up with tongs, and the bottom just went like swoop out.
Oh my gosh.
It was wild. Yeah,
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
that was fun. That was
Mine
a
was
fun
mine
time.
was never that mine was not that bad, but that's a funny story to be able to tell though.
Yeah, I remember there must be others. I should reminisce. I'll have to reminisce with some people in that class because I know there were more stories like
Yeah,
that I'm not always remembering, but those are fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So one of the last questions I got for you: what song would you add to a school survival playlist?
Full survival playlist. Oh, now I feel like I have to look through my playlist.
Hit me with it. Hit me with your song, Rex. I love it.
And I have so many playlists. It's crazy.
Same. I
And
have
I
so
like having
many.
playlists. Yeah.
Me too. They're like little I think a lot of them like time capsules. Like I make a new one like every couple
Yeah.
months and it's kind of like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, okay, I want to go back to what I was listening to back in like January of last year. See what it's like. See what's changed.
Mm-hmm. I can like pick which playlist to even look at first.
Yeah. Like what's your power song? What gets you through the final season?
Oh, I think I have one in mind. I need to just find it.
Amazing.
I don't remember which playlist it's in.
Oh no.
I have two in mind that it might be. And
Yeah.
my playlists are like so long. They're
What's your
like,
longest?
I think I have a 10-hour one. I think it's like 10 and a half hours. I think
That's
that's my one.
amazing.
Yeah.
Is that just liked
Like
songs or is it like
no, like
compilation?
this I made it like handpick songs and put it in there.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
It's like several years in the making, so that's probably why it's so long.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine whose playlist, one of her playlists is 7 days long.
Oh.
Like, well, I think it's just her liked songs, but it's seven
Oh,
full
okay.
days worth of music.
That's
Which is
that is
just,
so crazy.
it is. But she's
Oh,
always got good music
man.
recs. She always has like, anytime we're at like an event or like she's got the stereo, she's got like cool and interesting music. So
Yeah. I mean that's good.
yeah,
I can never make one playlist 7 days long.
no, I don't think I
No.
know 7 days worth of songs.
I probably do. Just
I
like
guess, yeah,
stored like in my memory somewhere.
back there somewhere.
Yeah, I found it, and it's called "Coming Out Fighting" by Red Collective,
Okay,
and it's a very like I say like empowering song in like whatever season that you're going through, like whatever you're dealing with, like
yeah,
that at the end you're like coming out fighting, like fighting against that thing, and I don't know, it's really like I feel that the words match the melody and like how intense. It's not the most intense, but it's like everything in the song I think meshes well in for the message and for the whole thing. So I really like whenever the song comes up. So I'm like, yes, I'll be coming out fighting. Exactly. I need that motivation right now. So even like in finals week, just be playing it like on repeat. It's a great song.
that sounds like a good one. I'm excited to listen to it. I love just the title alone. It fits with a lot of the other songs on there. It's like that empowering, like kind of
Right.
survival music, I guess. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
this is the last question of the interview. Thank you very much for coming on. But what would you tell your
Yeah.
freshman self in high school and your freshman self in college?
I would tell my freshman self in high school that like that she's never gonna believe the life that she's gonna have now. Like I always think about like my
Aw.
life right now, and I'm just like it's so crazy to think about it because like younger me would be so like in awe and just like astounded by the adventures that I go on, all the friends that I have. It's like you're gonna have so many more friends that are more genuine and that are not just like convenience friends, which of course it's easy to have those convenience friends because like you go to high school and like those are people you're around all the time.
Hmm.
But yeah, to my high school self, I would be like just wait and see like the life that you're gonna have right now.
Yeah.
And then for freshmen in college, I'd say just keep sticking it out and just like keep coming back and just keep being open to new adventures and new things and just keep doing what you're doing because you're gonna get to where you want to be in the end.
I love that. I love both of those. I think it's so beautiful to get to say, like, to your younger self. I mean, like, you're not going to believe it. Like, I love that, too, because
Yeah.
it's a cool thought to be like, yeah, the me of the past would be really excited that we're here now. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got one secret special question to ask you, Cheesy, and that is, what do you want to plug and promote and share, send all the listeners to?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm mostly active on like Instagram nowadays.
Hmm.
I post stuff on like my stories And then occasionally stuff on my my posts on my feed. If you want, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram at cheesy.stuff. And that's cheesy with a Z.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, right now my account is private, and that's only because someone tried to like make a duplicate like account of mine and like
That's weird.
what yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so random. Like, I'm not even famous. I don't understand. But I was like, that's kind of weird. So I had to like make my account private. But I mean, if I'll check you out, I might accept you as like
Yeah.
a follower. I mean, I'm also on TikTok, but I don't really post anything. That one is also at cheesy.stuff. And then I'm also on Snapchat, not really, but if you
Feel
want
that.
to follow, yeah, if you like want to add me on Snapchat, I don't really do that much. I just like watch other people's stories. I don't really like
Yeah.
post anything. But if you like want to message me or something, then that's got number two, love purple. And then I think that's all my social media. I mean, I'm also on Facebook, but I don't think anyone wants to friend
Yeah.
me on Facebook. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, my YouTube channel. Yeah, we can't forget
Yeah.
that.
Can't forget the YouTube.
Um, yeah, YouTube, my pride and joy. My YouTube channel is called Cheesy Stuff, but there's a space in there, and then it's three exclamation points. And then yeah, YouTube is a fun place for me to like express my creativity and just like see what's new, what's happening in my life. Anytime that I get around to post, so, yeah.
Yeah, I feel that YouTube, it's a fun platform. I love the creative expression there. But yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on this show, Cheesy. It was so good to finally talk. And I'll just say thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for the start, for, you know, editing that first like year and a half, 2 years of positivity episodes. The very first podcast I ever did was edited by this amazing Cheesy, and I'm forever grateful for it. So thank you.
Yes, of course, you're welcome.
Yeah, so listener, go check out Cheesy and all of her stuff. Check out her YouTube and all the cool things that she's up to. If you want to find us, our Instagram is StucoPod, our email is StucoPod@gmail.com. Wishing you the best of luck and the best of times in all of your educational endeavors. The Student Council is adjourned.